So in this episode, Barnacle Boy joins the dark side. And this episode is just so freaking hilarious, guys. It deserves the number 4 spot. And basically what this episode is about is that SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy, and Squidward join the IJLSA. And the first thing about this episode is that Mermaid Man takes forever to get a Krabby Patty. And then he says, and then a Pipsqueak Patty for the boy. And then Barnacle Boy's all like, now wait just a darn minute. And then he holds up the line. And this episode was just so freaking hilarious, guys. How could I have laughed more? Actually, I did laugh more. And future episodes on this list. But anyways, so basically the Mermaid Man's enemy now is Barnacle Boy. And Barnacle Boy teams up with Man Ray and the Dirty Bubble. So Mermaid Man forms a superhero team that he's actually not in, but basically the IJLSA is reunited when SpongeBob, Patrick, Sandy, and Squidward join the team, and basically it's really hilarious because when they go out to fight Barnacle Boy, they fail miserably. Like SpongeBob, when he goes to fight them, he's just running around in circles, and then the Quickster tries to help him. And it's so funny because they all fail. And then later, they become friends again and reunited and stuff. And then Mermaid Man orders a regular-sized patty for Barnacle Boy. And then later, Barnacle Boy says, actually, this is kind of big. And I just thought that was so funny. And another thing to note about this episode is a guy's all like, when they're having the IJLSA meeting, the guy's on the screen's all like kissing himself. And then Squidward's all like, make out Reef, good times, good times. That is just so hilarious. And another thing is that Patrick, when they're showing the commercial for the IJLSA, Patrick is all stretched out and stuff. And yeah, this episode is just so funny. So in this episode, Squidward gets bugged by SpongeBob and Patrick to go jellyfishing, but obviously Squidward doesn't want to go. And then later he gets trapped in the Krusty Krab, and then he discovers time traveling, and then he goes to the future, and everything's all chrome looking. And it's kind of hard talking about this episode. Not much happened that was understandable. But basically Squidward just time travels, and it's a really good episode. Like, this is funny, it's enjoyable, it's creative, it's mind-blowing, while at the same time being just an 11-minute episode. Like, they could cram that much into an episode about time traveling. And one thing to notice about this episode is that the name is the episode number, SB129, Season 1, Episode 29. Yeah, you guys may not have noticed that. But anyways, this is just a really good episode. So when Squidward discovers time traveling, he later then goes to the past, where it's like SpongeBob BC, where SpongeBob and Patrick are discovering things, and he teaches them how to, but then SpongeBob and Patrick get angry at Squidward, so he has to go back to the time machine. And later he gets trapped in the middle of nowhere in this blank white screen. which I found to be really funny because it's all like, alone, alone, alone. And it's kind of creepy at the same time, but it's really funny how Squidward's just trying to get out, and he's all like, I want to go home, and he eventually gets home. So, this episode was just fantastic. So, in this episode, SpongeBob and Patrick get the idea to sell chocolate to people, and this episode is really funny. Like, there's nothing more funny that I've seen in a SpongeBob episode. So basically, SpongeBob and Patrick do this to get money, and on their first trip around, they fail to sell chocolate to people, and then someone gives them help by giving them several bags and stuff. Later when SpongeBob goes to sell chocolate to people again, he's searching through a bunch of bags and stuff to find the chocolate, and I just thought that was so funny. Yeah. And later, SpongeBob and Patrick get the idea to be nicer to their customers, and one time Patrick was all like, I love you. And that is one of the most famous lines in SpongeBob ever. This episode really deserves the number 2 spot. Honestly, what episode could have been better? This is number 2, guys, so you know what episode could have been better. I'm not telling you yet, but basically, and another time they say, you rub it on your skin and it makes you look younger, which I thought was also funny, and just several other good jokes. And yeah, and another time they see the billboard ad and it says, eat barnacle chips. They're amazing. So overall, this episode is just so hilarious, man. Like, chocolate with nuts. What a good episode. So funny. So just to recap before we get to the first episode, number 20 was Skill Crane, number 19 was Tudor Sauce, number 18 was Midlife Crustacean, number 17 was Pickles, number 16 was Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy, number 15 was Squid on Strike, number 14 was Krusty Towers, number 13 was SpongeBob Meets the Strangler, number 12 was Idiot Box, number 11 was No Weenies Allowed, number 10 was Fear of a Krabby Patty, number 9 was Secret Box, number 8 was Pizza Delivery, number 7 was Wormy, number 6 was Jellyfishing, number 5 was Krusty Krab Training Video, number 4 was Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy 5, number 3 was SB129, number 2 was Chocolate with Nuts, and number 1 is Band Geeks, guys.
Stop, never thrall, that's happening.
So yes, you heard me. Number 1 was Band Geeks, and this episode was amazing. I mean, literally, it had the best music, the best plot in SpongeBob's history ever. Like, Edward was funny. This episode has nothing wrong with it. So basically, when Squidward checks the door, this is kind of funny, but he's the doctor, and he says, I heard you have a dying pet on the line, and I thought that was pretty funny because obviously Squidward didn't, and the doctor got the thing wrong. And then later he gets a call from Squidward Fancy Son, his arch nemesis in band class. And they basically talk about the Bubble Bowl and how he thinks Squidward will lose, but obviously Squidward's gonna prove him wrong, right? Because he then forms a band of like SpongeBob, Mr. Krabs, Squidward, and all those other characters like Larry and stuff. And basically the idea is that they do awful at first, and then they fight about it the next day, I think. And then Squidward is all like, well, you did it, and stuff. And yeah, well, although they fought, they did nothing wrong so far. It's not getting in the way of this episode being good. But yeah, so later SpongeBob tries to improve their work. And yeah, this is what makes them have such a great performance. Kick Williams' butt, man. Oh yeah. Sweet! Okay. So basically they arrive at the concert the next day and they play Sweet Victory. Yeah. It's ours for the taking. It's ours for the fight. Oh my god, this episode is going down in history. It is the #1 best episode. How can I even say it? I have no words to say it anymore. This is just such a good episode, man. There's no flaws to it. And then William dies, like, he has a heart attack and then he goes to the hospital, which I thought was kind of funny. And Squidward's just like rocking on and SpongeBob's like the lead singer and stuff. And all this just fits so perfectly. Squidward's awesome. Just all the people in this episode are awesome. And it was kind of funny when Plankton was playing his harmonica and he was like blowing on it and he had to run so far back and forth to play it. Overall, this episode was as funny as Chocolate with Nuts. Still pretty funny though. And when the flag twirlers ended up crashing and stuff, and that was pretty funny. So overall, such a good episode, guys. It's gonna go down in history.